we will be discussing about in detail about the economic survey. So this economic survey is of year 2020 to 2023, so which will be helpful in, for solving the prelims questions of UPSC 2023 and other state PSC exams. So before going into these topics in economic survey, let me discuss with you about some disclaimer. So first is in this session we will be talking only the exclusive topics which are non-repetitive. So and with exclusive hit points means we will be discussing topic and what are the only points which can be asked in exam. So that is the first thing. And next thing is, so this would be sufficient to solve any MCQ question in prelims on economic survey. And third thing is we will be not covering any repetitive topics of current affairs or any pure static topics, so those will be excluded. So only the exclusive topics which are not related with current affairs and static topics will be discussed. And the fourth topic is, if needed any information or if need any clarity on a particular topic which I am going to discuss now, if you don't have any knowledge or pre-knowledge about it, just Google it or go for just use the tools like Bard, ChatGPT. Okay, now we will start. Firstly, we will see or look about some important statistics, the important stats. So the first one is annual survey of industries. So the survey is conducted by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So what does this survey talks about? So it mainly talks about with respect to the share of employment. So here what is employment means the number of persons who are the total number of persons who are engaged in employment. So coming to the sector wise, so which sector holds this thing is majorly the food product industries. So food product industries majorly hold the highest share of employment, and next is apparel sector, and so on. So knowing these two would be sufficient. And coming to the state wise, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and Maharashtra. So this is the order of share of employment. Next is industries. So some sector, so industry sector stats will be looking at it. So there will be three important. One is with respect to the pharma produce, and other is with respect to the automobile market. Third is with respect to the phone manufacturing, mobile phone manufacturing. So where India ranks. So India ranks third in it, and second in mobile phone manufacturing. Just remember these three numbers. That's it. That is sufficient. Next, with respect to agriculture, we will see the stats that are mentioned in economic survey. So with respect to livestock, and other is with respect to fisheries. See here, with respect to agriculture, there may be n number of statistics, but these two are important, which has high probability to be asked in examination. And if there are any other stat related to the agriculture, it will be covered in static syllabus or in the current affairs topics. So now coming to this livestock. So livestock, so it is basically about 30% of agriculture GVA, gross value added, and fisheries contribution is around 7% of agriculture GVA. Remembering these two numbers is sufficient, and simply understand livestock is livestock GVA share is more than fisheries share of GVA in agriculture. That's it. Next is exports by India. So India exports to which country more? So first ranks is USA, next is UAE. So this is standard for many years, and third country is Netherlands, and fourth is China. Understand? So this actually China used to be in third position earlier, but now it shifted to fourth position. So what we can understand the analogy from this is India is diversifying its export market to various nations, especially in the past. From the past few years, if we compare, means the exports from India to USA and China has been decreasing and diversifying to other countries. Next is top remittance receiver. So which country receive more remittances? Obviously the country is India, then is Mexico, then is China. Understand, China is not second, but it is rather third here. So India, Mexico, China, this is the order. Next is FDI inflows. So FDI inflows with respect to sector. So if we talk with respect to sector or area, the major FDI inflow is into the computer, hardware and software and hardware sector. Hardware field, the FDI is more. Next followed is service sector. Next is trading. And similarly with respect to country, so from which country we receive more FDI is obviously Singapore, Mauritius and UAE and USA. So the major confusion is between Mauritius and Singapore. Be careful, Singapore has more inflow of FDI to India. Next is with respect to the foreign exchange reserves. With respect to foreign exchange reserves, okay, with respect to so what I want to tell you, with respect to foreign exchange reserves, India ranks 6th among the world. And with respect to this foreign exchange reserves, there is an important keyword which is GUI Greenspan IMF rule. So in MCQs they may directly ask what is to which it is related to. So what it says is basically the total amount of foreign exchanges which we will be having, right? For example, India have X amount of foreign reserves, and India in the next 30 days or in short term there is a debt which needs to be paid. So the ratio of foreign exchanges with the short term external debt, this ratio should be 1, means these two should be equal. That's what it means. And next is important fact is tele density. So number of telephones which are present per 100 population. So it is more in Delhi, then Mumbai, then Calcutta. So remembering these three are sufficient. Next is navigable wavelength. So navigable waterways length. So navigable waterways length, the order will be West Bengal has more, then followed by Assam, then Kerala. So the confusion may be between these two. So understand Assam has more than Kerala. So this is where the confusion. So remember this thing. Next is there is a concept called taper tantrum. So it is basically a phenomena. So before understanding it, we need to know these things. In 2008 in USA, so there is a market crash. So then there is an economic slowdown. So what the government of USA did is, so it buy the bonds and followed the expansionary fiscal and monetary policy. So what does expansionary fiscal monetary policy means? So basically they release money into the market. So what happened whenever there is a release of money in the market, so there will be a lot of money that has been accumulated in the market. So after a time there will be leads to the inflation. So this is the same that happened in USA until 2013. So in 2013 the inflation was hitting high. So what the USA government or Federal Reserve took the decision is to capture the money, or to suck the money which is in the people's hand back into the banks. So it started to increase the interest rates. So what happened, many people started to invest in the banks. So there will be less amount present in the market, or with less amount of money present in the market or with the people, we can say. So similarly, so okay, this is the situation. Now how does it affect India? So if whenever the interest rate is increasing by Reserve or Central Bank of USA, then many people across the world, including India, so will try to invest money in the USA market. So there will be a lot of flow away of capital. So flow away of capital from India to USA if the interest rate in USA is increased. So this phenomenon is called as a taper tantrum, and in extension to it there is a concept called as a taper without tantrum. Taper without tantrum. TANDRUM. So what does it mean? It simply means, so even with this phenomena happening, so country being resilient to the situation, so even from the shock, like many investors taking away the capital from India, so India should be able to sustain, should be able to resilient this situation. This is known as a taper without tantrum. And in taper without tantrum there is also a similar concept like capital flight. So capital flight means simply, this is called as a capital flight. It means people will be taking away money from India to invest in other country like US or any other country. So if it is a large sum, then it is called a capital flight. Means a large amount of capital is being flight away from India to other nation. This is called capital flight. So next important concept is flipping. So what does flipping mean? We will see. So flipping, so it is just a keyword. So what does it mean is will be transferring of entire ownership of Indian company to some foreign entity. If we are transferring 100, it is entire 100 percentage of the holding of this Indian company to the foreign entity is called simply flipping. So just remembering this keyword is suffice. Next is stagflation. So stagflation, everyone know what does it mean by stagflation? Means there is a inflation, so inflation is high along with economic growth is low plus unemployment is high. So unemployment is more and inflation is more. So this is the rate situation. Basically this is against the principle or the standard curve which we study is Phillips curve. So what does Phillips curve say? Whenever there is an increase in inflation, unemployment will be decreasing. So this is what it says. Means there is an inverse relationship. Inflation is indirectly proportional to unemployment. This is what the Phillips curve said. But in a situation of stagflation, this Phillips curve will be proven false. Next important word is monetary and physical stimulus. So what does it mean? So there is a keyword like monetary fiscal stimulus, monetary and physical austerity. So these two are the keywords. So what does stimulus means? Stimulus means simply we can say simply expansionary policy. So austerity means simply we can understand it as a contractionary policy. So what does expansionary means? Simply release. So it is maybe due to the physical or monetary effort, means it is through the government or RBI effort respectively, the money in the market needs to be increased. So this is the aim of this expansionary policy. So it is simply known as a stimulus, monetary or fiscal stimulus. If it is done by RBI, then it is called the monetary stimulus. If it is done by government measures, then it is called as a fiscal stimulus. Similarly, austerity, fiscal austerity and monetary austerity. So it is similar related to the concept of contractionary monetary policy. Means so RBI or government want to suck money from people or from market. Next important concept is So next important concept is external commercial borrowings. So what does external commercial borrowings mean? So borrowing by any Indian entity from any non-foreign person, then it is called as external, any something like any non-nationality, then it is called external commercial borrowings. So general average maturity of these external commercial borrowings will be around 3 years. And next important topic is bond price, bond yield, and how this is linked to inflation. and how this is linked to economic growth. Above all, what is yield curve? So this has been also talked in economic survey. It is an important concept. Actually, I have made a special separate video for it, so you can look at that video. It will be given in the link will be given in description. Next is monetary policy committee. So what is this monetary policy? So it simply consists of 6 members. So out of it, one is RBI governor. So what is the quorum of this MPC? It is 4. And another thing what we need to remember with respect to monetary policy committee is they must meet at least 4 times in a year. So remembering these 3 would be sufficient. Next is LAF. So there are 2 concepts like LAF, liquidity adjustment facility, and standing deposit facility, SDF. So LAF means nothing but repo rate and reverse repo rate. So these are basically collateral. So what does repo rate means? So it is when the bank is buying something or buying or taking loan, we can say. So whenever bank is taking loan from the RBI, it pays the repo rate. In it, reverse repo rate is converse of it. Whenever RBI is taking money or taking loan from the bank, then it is reverse repo rate. So generally reverse repo rate will be more than repo rate is more than reverse repo rate. So in LAF means here there will be a collateral as a medium in taking or in exchanging of loans, whereas in SDF, special drawing facility, so it is basically overnight mechanism which will be used. So here it is no collateral is used. This is the only difference. So it is, you can say it is a collateral free liquidity absorption tool of RBI from the banks. So what we can say is basically banks park excess liquid with RBI. So this is simply so, but there is no collateral in this exchange, in this mechanism. So this is the difference between LAF and SDF. And next important concept we need to understand is insurance market. So in insurance market there are 3 terms which you need to understand. So what is insurance penetration? What is insurance density? And what is detarification? So insurance penetration, it is nothing but the total insurance premiums per GDP in a year. How many total insurance premiums are there in a GDP with respect to GDP? And similarly, what is insurance density is, it is with respect to population. So it is ratio of insurance premium with the population. And what is detarification? So there is no fixed tariff that can be imposed or that can be used by these insurance companies, because the tariff, so simply you can say like this. So if a person if insurance company believes that a person dies tomorrow, then he will be charged more premium. When if it is known to the insurance company that a person has a long life to live, he is still young, so then he will be have a less premium. So it is based upon the risk profile, the tariff will be decided. So based upon the risk profile, the insurance company should be allowed to charge the own premium from the customer. So this is known as a detarification. Next important concept is, so next keyword what we need to remember is MICA. What does MICA means? Markets in crypto assets. So it is basically the regulation proposed by the European Union. So and with respect to this, so I'll write full form. Market in crypto assets. So means this is the regulation which was proposed by the EU. So here crypto, so there is an exception which is NFTs. So NFTs are excluded from it. Now, so simply there is another keyword. What is the stable coins? So stable coins means which has the value all over the world, which due to any shocks or discrepancies, it stays remain more or less a constant. So simply is dollar is a stable coin, gold is a stable coin. So whenever there is any uncertain situation, many people try to invest in these, try to hold these. Hence these are called stable coins. So next, what is the minimum alternative tax? So minimum alternative tax, which was what we need to remember with respect to minimum alternative tax, it is a direct tax, is the first point. Next point is it is imposed on the profit, book profit, not on like earnings. So normal income tax, these are all imposed with respect to the company earnings. Here the MAT is imposed with respect to the book profits. And India currently it is around 15%, whereas corporate tax is around almost 22%. And MAT. So also in MAT, minimum alternative tax, there is one thing which we need to remember. So what are the fields that are exempted? What are the companies? What are the sectors that are exempted from it? So there are mainly three. One is life insurance firms. And the second thing is shipping companies, which are already paying tonnage tax. And next is a company with no permanent premise in India. So in these three situations, they need not pay the minimum alternative tax. Next thing what we need to remember is green bond principles. So green bond principles are related to the ICMA, International Capital Market Association. So in MCQ they may confuse like what is green bond principles, who will be giving these, so who will be declaring these. So they may give options like IUCN or UNEP. All these are wrong. It is ICMA, International Capital Market Association. So these principles are given by it, ISMA. Next thing is report which we need to remember is business responsibility and sustainability report. It is released by SEBI. So remembering this organization would be sufficient. Next is global gender gap index. So what does this global gender gap index, which country ranked top is Iceland, where India is ranked almost 135 out of 146 total countries which participated. So with respect to the stocks, so stocks related keywords which we need to remember is blue chip. So means which is a valuable, like TCS with respect to India. So these are blue chip companies. So affecting these companies will have a huge impact on other stock market companies. So blue chip company, these are called the blue chip companies. Then another keyword which you need to remember is Dastak Composite. So it is also stock market index like Nifty, like Sensex. So like that, this NASDR, Nasdaq Composite, is also a stock market index. And blue chip companies are the companies which are more crucial in the stock market. And next is OpenForge. So what does OpenForge means? So OpenForge, you can simply say, so it is a Government of India platform to open collaborative development of e-government applications. So any e-governance applications, if needs to be developed, so we can call, so many third parties or APIs can collaborate here and can develop this e-governance application, e-governance apps. This is called OpenForge. And what is a RAMP program? This is an important thing. So we simply need to know a RAMP program is related to what? It is related to M. See here, M stands for here MSME. So what does RAMP full form means? Raising and accelerating MSME performance. So what does this RAMP program is related to is the question. Then the option which we need to select is MSME. Next is golden quadrilateral. So golden quadrilateral, actually it was discussed or found the foundation stone was laid down in 1919 but Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So it majorly is to connect so Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata and Chennai. So these four places will be connected using it. So if it is completed by plan, it is almost like fifth longest, we can say fifth longest national highway. in the world. Next keyword is Infinity Forum. So what does Infinity Forum means? So it is a basically leadership forum with respect to the fintech companies, financial technology companies will be there, na? So with respect to it, so the leadership forum is known as Infinity Forum. So insolvency and bankruptcy code, which the companies or any institutions which has gone into bankrupt, so will come into this IBC for sake of resolution. So here there will be, so it deals with different clients like companies, limited liability partnership, or even individual firms, or even partnership firms. So, but the adjudicating authorities are different. So the adjudicating authority is National Company Law Tribunal for with respect to the companies as well as the limited liability partnerships, whereas it is Debt Recovery Tribunal DRT if it is with respect to the individuals and partnership firms. So yeah, remembering this thing is fine. Understanding this thing is fine. Next important thing is e-Shram portal. So what does the e-Shram portal is related to is basically then unorganized workers database, you can say. So all the information of unorganized workers will be stored here. So they will be having a 12 digit UID, unique identification number for them. So it will be given for them, and the age should be between 16 to 59 years. And whoever is a part of it, they will be getting a rupees 2 lakh accidental insurance cover. Accident insurance cover will be given to them. So understanding these 4 points about e-Shram portal is sufficient. Next is One Nation, One Ration Card. So here only point which we need to remember is, so the migrant worker, so the migrant is allowed to buy a maximum of 50 percentage of family limit. 50 percentage of family limit. So if this family limit is like 100 units, he can only get from other state only 50 units. So this is the restriction with respect to ONOR. And next topic is, so we need to, so there are basically two terms which we need to remember first with respect to indirect tax. So indirect tax, Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs. So with respect to this, there is two key terms which you need to remember. So first is anonymized escalation mechanism. If we want to go into detail what is this, all these things, you can just Google it or use ChatGPT tool to get more information. So this is the first thing, and the second thing is ICE gate portal. So if in exam it is given in question, MCQ question, that what is ICE gate portal related to, then it is simply the any option related to the indirect tax, you can just mark it. And next is rare earth metal. So there are 17 rare earth metals, so just remembering it would be sufficient. Next is International Solar Alliance. So there will be a lot of static information related to it, which we have already discussed in the environment quick revision class or current affairs class. So now with respect to this economic survey, only point which we need to remember with ISA is basically the aim of ISA is to unlock almost $1 trillion investment by 2030. So unlocking $1 trillion investment by 2030 is the aim of it. And what is lead IT? So it is the full form of lead IT is Leadership Group for Industrial Transitions. So what is it? So it is basically a group of companies or countries which are come together who are committed to achieve the Paris Climate Agreement goals. So it is simply a congregation group to who want to achieve these Paris Climate Agreement what we said targets. So what is full form of lead is Leadership Group for Industrial Transition. Next important topic is with respect to Project Cheetah. So what we need to remember with respect to it is a centrally sponsored scheme, not central sector scheme. So with respect to Cheetah, so one important thing which we need to understand, it is the only large wild, it is only large wild mammal species that was extinct. So here the keyword we are using is only, so don't be negative here. So it is correct. It is the only large wild animal species that has an extinct since independence 1947 in India. So this is true. This statement is true. And next, with respect to, we'll understand is wildlife awards. So the major awards with respect to wildlife is TRAMCA. So what does it mean is Transboundary Manas Conservation Area Award. What does Transboundary Manas Conservation Area Award? So this was given to Manas National Park, which is present in Assam. I'll write full otherwise. Manas National Park, which is present in Assam, and Royal Manas National Park, which is present in Bhutan. And next important award is TX2 award. So in 2023, who won this award is PNCH, Pench Tiger Reserve. So Pench Tiger Reserve, which is present in the borders of Maharashtra plus Madhya Pradesh, and along with Pench Tiger Reserve, and the second tiger reserve that was awarded is Satpura Tiger Reserve. It is present in Madhya Pradesh, Satpura Tiger Reserve. So TX2 reward. Who won the TX2 reward? Who won the TRAMC award? So remembering these tiger reserves names is sufficient. Next, what is CATS? So simply CATS is nothing but a conservation tool, so which follows the best practices and the standards for the conservation of tigers. So it is simply a partnership of countries. So it is simply partnership of countries, NGOs, so institutions, etc. So they will be forming so common standards and best practices for the conservation of tigers. Also, World Wildlife helps and supports these countries or this group, we can say. Next, what thing we need to remember with respect to wildlife fund, WWF is so Tiger Alive Initiative. Tiger Alive Initiative. It is related to World Wildlife Fund. So this is the important thing. And next is Wildlife Protection Amendment Act 2022. So what is the difference with the earlier Wildlife Protection Act? So it is more in line or more in sync with the CITES Convention on International Treaty of Endangered Species of Wildlife, Wild Flora and Fauna. This treaty is there, right? So it is now more in sync with it. And there is also a decrease in number of schedules. Earlier there are 6 schedules, now there are only 4 schedules. And also the removed schedule of vermin schedule has been removed here. And also, so the government regulation on invasive alien species has been increased. Invasive alien species has been increased. And next important topic is ONDC. So it is basically similar to that of what we commonly use Amazon, Flipkart. Next important thing is neobanks. Okay, so what does this ONDC full form is? Open Network for Digital Commerce. So similar to Amazon and Flipkart, here the charges will be less. So it is basically, as it is an open source, many people can buy and sell their products here. And coming to neobanks, so it is basically a fintech platform. So it is basically a fintech platform. So there will be no any physical presence. There will be only digital presence, only digital presence will be present. There will be no physical presence at all. And also there neobank. So here we are using even though we are using the name here as bank, there is nothing such category of banks which is mentioned under the RBI rules. It is important point. And next topic is digital banking units. So what does digital banking units means? So it is kind of a brick and mortar banking model. So it is a kind of one-stop solution where we will be having a multiple services with respect to banking. Like we can withdraw, we can deposit, we can take loan, we can do bill payments. So all these facilities are possible with respect to digital banking units. So anyone can set up this digital banking units. Any scheduled commercial banks can be set up, but who can't set up is RRBs can't set up, and local area banks can't be set up, and payment banks can be set up. Only these three has no authority to set up these DBUs. All other banks, recognized banks, are eligible to establish this DBU. So this DBU will be so more in line with financial inclusion. Next topic is related with respect to tourism. So there are majorly two schemes. One is Nidhi. So what does it mean is National Integration Database of Hospitality Industry. And other thing is SATI, SAATHA. So it is also related to the training. So it is also with respect to related to training of hospitality industry training. It is also related. So these two come under the Ministry of Tourism. So this is the only thing which we need to remember as of now. And next is Amrit Sarovar mission. So what is the aim of this mission is basically to regenerate 75 water bodies in every district. So this is the aim of Amrit Sarovar mission. Next is Project Unnati. So Project Unnati is related comes under the Ministry of Rural Development. So what is its main aim is to improve the skills of Manrega workers. Next is Mission Utkarsh. So it is just only one point which we need to remember with respect to is it is a part of Aspiration District Program. That's it. So Project Utkarsh, Mission Utkarsh is related to Aspiration District Program. That's it. Remember, understanding this thing is fine. Next is we can say it as conventional gravity model. So conventional gravity model is related to what? So you simply ask this question. So other name for this conventional gravity model is gravity model of trade. So it basically used to predict the bilateral trade flows. So how it will be? So it basically predict the bilateral trade flows based upon the economy size that is present. So we simply need to understand conventional gravity model is related to what is basically with respect to it is the term used with respect to the trade. Next is Pacific Alliance. So what is Pacific Alliance? And other thing which we need to remember is Tripartite Agreement. So Tripartite Agreement which has been happened. So it is with respect to the African countries. And what is Pacific Alliance? So it is between the countries like Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Peru. So yeah, so I need to remember these four countries. And Tripartite Agreement is related to what means it is related with the African countries. That's it. So this is all completely about the economic survey of 2022 and 23. So just remembering these hit points. So consider this as a trivia. Just considering, so understanding these points would suffice to solve any MCQ question. Thank you.